Good evening, beautiful yogis. I am so excited to be with you here tonight. I've honestly had an interesting couple of days, but this right here is my reason for being. So thank you for joining me, either now or at a later time. Just taking a moment to find your way to your mats. Beginning to connect to a few deep breaths. And just finding that place of center, getting comfortable, relaxing in the hips, the shoulders, the belly. Maybe you allow your eyes to close, really drawing that attention inward. I've been reading this book that, well, it's called The Illusion of Money, but it talks about how our relationship with ourself is reflected through money and through the money in our lives, and it encouraged this exercise of just imagining what it would be like if you lost everything. Your home, your phone, your car, your clothes, your friends, your family. What if you lost it all and it was just you and the world? It encouraged us to look at kind of what emotions arise from that. And after noticing what kind of emotions that mental exercise inspires in you, to then see what it would take for you to make that leap from fear or whatever else you may have felt into just a place of safety and security within yourself. What would it take to really recognize that everything you've ever needed was already inside of you all along? And gently allowing your eyes to open. Go ahead and let's take our legs nice and as wide as you can. Wherever that is for you, that is okay. You want to be able to have pretty straight legs. Go ahead and scoop any flesh you can out from under your sit bones. You can keep a micro bend in the knees. But go ahead and flex those feet. Really draw the toes back towards your body, pressing out through the heels. And then with a nice straight spine, the crown of the head right in alignment with the neck. So a straight line from the bottom of our spine up to the top of our head, beginning to walk our hands forward. And just walking them forward to wherever's comfortable for you. Finding the edge of that stretch. Taking a few breaths here into any tightness in the backs of the legs. Beautiful work. Just a few more breaths here. And maybe for the last couple breaths, if you found a little bit opening, maybe you walk your hands a little bit further forward, finding that new edge. And beginning to press yourself up on your next inhale. Go ahead and grab behind the knees, drawing them up and in. And go ahead and straighten out our right leg. Left leg crosses over the right. And then again, maybe scooping the flesh, getting a nice strong base, strong seat. Inhale that right arm up. And you're gonna hook that right elbow over the left knee. Taking that left hand behind you and just pressing into the ground, finding some extra length in the spine. As you breathe here, deepening into the twist, bringing out those internal organs, massaging the kidneys, releasing any toxins, just letting that go. And go ahead and come back to center. Switching across the legs. On your next inhale, drawing that left arm up, hooking it across the right knee, taking that right arm to the ground behind you, pressing into the ground, lengthening the spine, and pressing that elbow into that knee, deepening into the twist. You really want the twist to be coming from this whole upper body, really scooping that rib cage around. Maybe you continue to turn the neck, gazing out over that right shoulder. And on your next exhale, gently releasing back to center. We're going to go ahead and make our way onto our hands and knees. Spreading all 10 fingers nice and wide, making like a star shape with our hands, pressing all 4 corners of the palms into the mat. Bringing the knees about hips distance apart. Ankles track right behind you, finding a nice neutral spine. And just from here, I want you to draw, without actually moving anything, draw the hands towards the knees and the knees towards the hands. So you'll just kind of feel that energetic lift in the spine and the belly, drawing that belly button up and in, activating the core, and release. And drawing in with the hands and knees, and release. And one more time, drawing in, and release. Inhale the crown of the head and tailbone up into cow. Exhaling back, pressing through the hands and knees. Inhaling forward, warming up the spine. And exhaling back. Just a couple more times at the pace of your own breath. Just feeling that delicious movement between every vertebra. And as you're ready, returning to neutral spine. On an inhale, taking that left foot back, right arm forward. Exhale here, pressing out through the heel, inhaling that left leg up, parallel to the mat. And exhale, crunching in, elbow to knee. I know the balance is really hard here. Take your time, inhaling out. Finding that balance. If you fall out, that's okay. Exhale in, just come right back to it. Just a couple more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. One more time, you've got this. Inhale out. And exhale, crunch. Go ahead and return your knee and hand to the mat. And switching sides, drawing that right heel back, left arm forward. On an inhale, lifting that right foot up off the mat. And taking a moment to find your balance. Inhaling and exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale forward. Exhale, elbow to knee. I know this is difficult, so if you're even attempting it, you are doing great. Inhale forward. Exhale, elbow to knee. And one last time, inhaling forward. Exhale, elbow to knee. And releasing your hand and knee to the mat. We're going to take our big toes together, knees wide, pressing back, child's pose. Once you've recentered here, inhaling back forward, onto our hands and knees. We're going to tuck those back toes under, pressing the hips up and back, down dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Rolling those armpits in towards the ears. Take a peek back at your heels. If you can see them, just twist your feet out a bit so your heels are just out of view. Breathing here, beginning to bend deeply in the knees, really lifting those hips up and back, kind of towards the back corner of the room where the ceiling and wall would meet. Couple more breaths here, pressing into all 10 fingertips. And beginning to encourage those heels to the ground. On your next inhale, tucking that tailbone, rolling over the shoulders into plank. Pressing strongly into the hands, out through the heels. You can either drop your knees, chest, chin, or just tuck those elbows in and drop straight down, chaturanga. And now that we've come to the mat onto our belly, we're just going to start building some strength here in our back body for cobra. So pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, drawing your knees up towards your belly, so that will activate the quads. From there, drawing your hands right under your shoulders, elbows tucked into the side body, beginning to lift the head and chest up off the mat. Now I'm not pushing into my hands yet. I'm just using the strength of my back. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Making sure you're still activating those legs. Exhale, release. And one more time, we're going to hold. Inhale, lift. This time pressing into your hands, coming up a little higher. Dropping those shoulders down away from the ears. And exhale, release. Maybe make a little pillow with your hands to rest your head. On the next inhale, coming back, replanting the palms of those hands right under the shoulders. We're going to go ahead and come up all the way into up dog this time. So same thing, squeezing those thighs into one another, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Beginning to press up into the hands, but we're going to straighten all the way into our elbows, pressing strongly through the feet. Should not be hurting or dumping our lower back. And then dropping the knees to the mat, shifting the hips back, child's pose. On your next inhale, making your way forward onto your hands and knees. We're gonna do kind of a variation of down dog. Again, this will be for building some more strength. I know none of this is the easiest thing to do in the world, so I'm proud of you for showing up and beginning to build your strength. So just hold it as long as you can. You can always come back down into child's pose at any time for a break. So elbows are going to be about shoulder distance apart, interlacing the hands and pressing the sides of the hands into the mat. We're going to tuck our toes under, press the hips up and back, pressing through the elbows into dolphin. Keeping a bend in the knees if you need it. Pressing the heels towards the mat, finding a nice opening in the back of the legs, really pressing into those elbows. You should feel your shoulder blades come together on your back. Allowing your head to drop down so your neck is not crunched into your shoulders. And coming forward onto the toes, dropping the knees, pressing back, down dog. Child's pose. Beautiful work, recentering here in child's. Just gonna introduce a centering thought. So the theme for today's class is uplifting. And one beautiful mantra that I find very uplifting is, I am the sky and everything else is just weather. I am the sky and everything else is just weather. Inhaling forward onto your hands and knees, tucking those toes back, shifting the hips up and back, down dog, going right in towards a vinyasa, bending deeply in the knees, gazing forward, and you can hop or walk your feet to your hands. Exhaling down into a nice forward fold, tucking that tailbone, and on your inhale, rolling up one vertebra at a time. And as we meet together at standing, we're going to come with our feet about hips distance apart, parallel to one another. We're going to set up for a balancing pose. I'm going to do tree pose. So I really like to get a nice strong base going before we start the balancing pose. So in order to do that, let's start with the right. I like to press really deeply into that right leg and see if you could just get the left foot just to pop off the mat a little bit, just by pressing down strongly, lifting that knee cap up. And once you've got that, go ahead and activate it. Tighten your core, draw your belly button up and in. And you might just be here tonight with your toe touching the mat and the edge of your foot. Maybe you bring your foot up to your calf. Please do not put it on the knee or press into the side of your knee. I want you to protect your joints here. If you're feeling flexible or are not new to the practice and you want to go a little further, you might take that heel all the way up to the inside of the thigh. Beginning to open that knee out, opening across the hips, finding a nice still point on the wall in front of you. Maybe you draw the arms up. If you fall out, that is okay. Just be with where you are tonight. You'll find as you practice, some nights you'll be more balanced than others. And that's okay, just honoring where you're at, maybe bringing your hands to heart center. And if it's available to you, go ahead, give it a shot to come out of the pose as slowly as you can. Beautiful work. Wherever you are on your yoga journey is absolutely perfect. Just arriving to your mat and breathing is what the practice is really all about. So we're going to go ahead and set up for the other side. Pressing deeply into that left foot as the right pops up off the mat. Go ahead and do that just a couple times. See if you can really tighten in the core. So it's not too much of a hip lift, but just from the activation of the muscles. Drawing that belly button in, pressing into that left foot, and then choosing your level for tonight. Maybe here, maybe your trees here, maybe your trees here. Maybe you just bring your hands to heart center, finding a still point, a drishti, on the wall in front of you. And once you have that concentration, breathing into the balance, allowing for the natural movement, the sway, like a tree in the wind, the organic motion of balance. Maybe you added branches. Maybe you begin to bring your hands back to heart center. Beautiful work. Maybe you release slowly. Just taking a moment to shake that out. I'd like to explore one more standing pose. So go ahead and take your feet pretty wide. If you were to hold your arms out, probably about ankles under wrists. And then you might want to, if you're just starting out, take one foot kind of to the outer edge of one side of the mat and the other towards the outer edge of the other, so you're not on a tight wire. You kind of got some space in between the feet. Go ahead and begin bending into that front knee, drawing that back heel off the mat. Sorry, I have my right foot forward right now, so if I say left later, go ahead and just do the opposite of whichever you're doing now when we get there. Allowing those hips to drop down towards the mat, drawing your thighs in towards one another, pressing strongly down through that front foot and the ball of the back foot. And then just gazing down, making sure that your knees not flailing forward over the ankle. Just back there. And then go ahead and inhale your arms up. We're going to exhale, dropping that back knee to the mat. Inhale, strengthen. Exhale, drop. Beautiful work. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, drop. Just a couple more times if you can bear with me. Beautiful work. One more time. And on our inhale, coming up, swiveling that back foot to the mat and opening up our arms, warrior two. Maybe you gaze out over those front fingertips. Dropping the back hand to that back thigh. Inhale, right palm comes up, gazing up. And exhale, release. Go ahead and twist. Move your feet so all toes are pointing forward, or maybe even slightly in, slightly pigeon-toed. You can try both. We're going to do a forward fold, Prasarita, and you'll get a little bit different stretch in the leg, depending on whether you have your toes pointing straight forward or slightly pigeon-toed, slightly in. So bringing your hands to your hips, drawing that chest forward and down. And as your head comes towards the mat, go ahead and drop your hands to the mat. Breathing into the backs of the legs. Bringing your hands back to your hips. Inhale, all the way up. And we're going to go ahead and take the crescent on the other side. So now I have my left foot forward, but you're just opposite wherever you started. Go ahead and bend into that front knee. Again, peeking down, making sure that that front knee is in line with the ankle and not falling forward over it. See if you can really twist those hips to square off with the front of the mat. And then drawing that back heel up, crescent pose. Maybe you inhale the arms up. And exhale, bending that back knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Almost there, beautiful work. Straighten and bend. And one more time. Straighten and bend. On your next inhale, coming back up. Dropping that back foot to the mat. Opening the arms. Warrior two. Maybe you gaze out over those front fingertips, reaching long in both directions, dropping that back hand to your thigh. Inhaling the left palm up, taking a gaze up, and release. So we're just gonna make our way all the way back to our mats. I'm not gonna take you through the vinyasa down right now because I want you to have a couple moments here in Shavasana. So making your way all the way onto your back. Go ahead and give your knees a nice squeeze in. Go ahead and drop both knees all the way over to the right. And gaze out over your left shoulder. Inhale up through center. Exhaling both knees over to the left. Gazing out over your right shoulder. Inhale up through center. And go ahead and draw those feet out long. Arms come out to the side. And just beginning to relax. We're going to breathe here for a few moments, allowing all that beautiful work to settle in. Go ahead and just allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. As you deepen into your Shavasana, your final resting position, I offered you another centering thought, an uplifting thought. I create my own happiness. I create my own happiness. And if over the next couple minutes your mind begins to wander, just bring it back to that centering thought. I create my own happiness. beginning to bring awareness back into your body. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and toes. And bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat. And as you're ready, beginning to roll onto one side into fetal position. And as you're ready, pushing up to seated, taking your time, allowing your head and neck to come up last. And from seated, go ahead and bring your hands, palms together, pressing all 10 fingertips into one another, drawing the base of your thumbs into your sternum. Allowing your eyes to close for one more moment. When life seems to be throwing you obstacles or circumstances or situations that are maybe not what you would desire, I'd like to invite you in those moments to take a few breaths and ask yourself, is there a way I can rise above this? Can you take a bird's eye view of the situation? And I find if you can look at your situation from an uplifted point of view, often you will find creative solutions that were not available to you by viewing these circumstances from ground level. Thank you for making the dedication to your practice today and for joining me. Namaste.